The bigger guys, they tend to not make it just because you're working out different muscles. So usually the little guy works out better. The tornadoes and stuff that have been hitting St. Louis, I'll come out and take a look at it, make sure it's safe and everything before my guys get out there. Specifically, I don't like Chicago, but I think that's just a St. Louis thing.
Welcome to this episode of the Real Producers Partners Podcast. I'm David Owen with Changescape Web. At Changescape Web, we assist businesses with the promotion of their business and services. And we use both digital and conventional marketing techniques. In each episode, we speak with the Real Producers Partners to learn more about them and their business. Today, I'm joined by Scott Smith, who is the Business Development Manager for 2 Men and a Truck located in the St. Louis area. Welcome to the podcast, Scott.
Thank you, David. Well, thanks for having me.
So as we get started today, why don't you tell the listeners the best way to get a hold of you?
So I would say the best way to get a hold of me is simply call the office at 314-963-7766. And you can always ask for Scott Smith. Or you can go online, go to 2menandatruck.com, and you can find us there locally here in St. Louis.
Okay, so how did you get started with 2 Men and a Truck?
Many years ago, back in 2011, I had a couple buddies that were working here, and they said, "Hey, you should come try this out. This is pretty cool." And started working as a mover. Kind of built my way up to become a driver, and spent 10 years on the trucks working as a driver and moving furniture.
So I got to ask, are your buddies still there?
No, it's a rather hard job. So it's a lot of guys don't last too long, but 10 years is pretty long for a mover.
Well, I can imagine. So what would be a good connection for you? Who do you want to meet that's in the marketplace?
So as the business development manager, I'm looking for just ways to grow the company. A lot of them would be working with businesses, trying to get them moved to a better location, or whatever situation it is. We do all sorts of moving, storage, junk removal. We can clear out the places. I have designated teams that work with companies that know how to move cubicles, move their office spaces, all of that stuff efficiently and effectively. So we try to limit that downtime of them being, out of business for multiple days. We try to keep that nice and short so they can be back up in operations.
Okay.
So, short answer, sweet, is pretty much any business that's looking to move.
So would realtors be a good referral for you?
Yeah, of course. Really, realtors, obviously, they're first hands-on whenever it comes to knowing if someone needs to move. So we work with a lot of realtors in St. Louis. We're a sponsor of the St. Louis Realtors group as well. So there's a lot of them that always come to us anyway. But yeah, any realtors, really anyone looking to move is a good connection.
Let's talk a little bit about the scope of services that you provide.
Sure. So we do anything from moving, storage, junk removal within 100 miles of St. Louis. We consider that local. After that, we do intrastate and interstate moves. So we can travel anywhere in Missouri, or we can go anywhere across the nation. So part of that being a driver for 10 years, I got to see all continental U.S. states. So it's, getting to travel everywhere, moving people to different locations, whether it be their retirement home, their vacation home, whatever it was, it's kind of a perk of the job. Okay. So we service anywhere, locally or all across the U.S. We do anything from as small as an internal, where it's just moving a couple bookcases or a bedroom set inside of the house, or we can do anything across the hall, or anything across the nation. We do it all.
So it's not necessarily just homeowners or home furnishings. It can be office. It can be whatever you need.
Yep. Essentially anything that needs to be moved. Currently I'm looking to get into like last mile services. So, working with like Costco and say you order a TV from Costco, but Costco can't deliver it, 2-minute truck can deliver it. So that's considered last mile. Get it to from the business to the doorstep. So looking for connections in that, see if I can help out.
So you guys are licensed and insured, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Licensed, insured, bonded, all of that stuff. We have a certificate of insurance for any complexes or anything like that need that. We can always provide that. All of our guys are trained in-house. They're licensed and insured with us, so they have full coverage. We have 401k with them. We have workman's comp. We cover all of that stuff. So if they were to get hurt on a job or in a building, we cover those guys. So
does the insurance cover the property that you're moving as well?
Yes. Yeah. So that certificate of insurance covers the property that we're working on, as well as the trucks and all the surrounding vehicles, everything like that. Everything is insured.
All right. So you talked about 100-mile radius. Would that be that would not be the destination. That'd be the starting point, right?
Yeah. So locally it's either way. It's as a crow's fly. So, you can start, downtown St. Louis, and then you can drive all the way out to, probably close to Rolla. That's probably about 100 miles.
Yeah.
So, we pretty much cover that whole, you draw a circle around St. Louis that is 100 miles out. We cover anything in between there locally.
So you said you go cross country. So it's 100 miles at the starting point, but do you have associations or connections out across the country? Yeah. Do you deliver all the way?
So that's the little difference is between OTR and local. So over the road versus a local move. OTR, typically you start here in St. Louis. A lot of people say, let's move into Florida. So our crew will load everything up here in St. Louis. They'll hit the road. They'll get down to wherever your destination is. Our crew will unload the truck and then they drive back. So you have the same two guys the whole way. We won't. A lot of times we don't pick up labor down there. If we do, it is another 2-minute truck franchise. We don't pick up any day labor ever.
Yeah, that was my other question about day labor. So you use only 2 men in a truck employees.
Correct. So every 2-minute truck employee, they get trained in-house. So here in St. Louis, we have the largest training facility. So it's almost like a makeshift move. So we teach them how to wrap all the furniture, wrap your mattresses, wrap the TVs, box up any glassware. So any pictures, mirrors, anything like that, they all get boxed up. And then they actually load one of our trucks. So they learn how to load the truck, how to pack the truck safely, and then they move everything back in and set it up. So and it's grueling. It's a 5-day training class, and they're moving furniture every single day. So we make them well prepared before they even get in the field.
And in good shape.
Yeah, in good shape too.
So that's the thing. Are you looking for a particular type of person from a physicality perspective?
No. So we've seen everything from bodybuilders to a guy that weighs 100 pounds. And, it's really the heart that they'll keep you going. A lot of the bigger guys, they tend to not make it just because you're working out different muscles. So, it's not just bench pressing furniture. It's, picking it up and carrying it for a long distance. So usually the little guy works out better, but we take anyone, we train them up. We'll make them as good as we can. So.
All right. So we talked about the area you serve. So if I'm moving, this is an example. If I'm moving from Topeka, Kansas to St. Louis, Missouri, would that be done with you?
So there's a Kansas City franchise that would probably do it from Topeka to here. But if you're moving from St. Louis to Topeka, we would take care of that.
Okay.
It's about the starting destination. So
Okay.
as long as it starts in St. Louis and goes somewhere, we can, our franchise locally will take care of that.
Okay. And then how do you charge? Do you charge based on the load or mileage or both, or how do you set the pricing?
So we have various different ways of pricing. So residentially, local moves, they will be charged per hour. We use a dynamic style of booking. So the later that you wait to book your move, those truck spots might be taken up more. So the cost is higher. So if you know you're moving a month out and you call and book, you're going to get a cheaper rate. With business moves, a lot of times we offer a flat bid rate. So usually we will come out, do an on-site consultation, and then we can put a flat bid together that will cover everything from travel, valuation, insurance, everything gets covered, labor hours, everything gets covered into that flat bid. With long distance moves, so over the road moves, they also get a flat bid, but there's a little bit more that goes into it. Essentially, you're paying for one entire truck or two entire trucks. You pay for that whole thing. We don't load share, so we don't put someone else's stuff on in the back of the truck with your stuff. So you're buying that entire truck and traveling wherever you need to go.
What's the advantage of buying the truck, not load sharing?
So a lot of companies that do load share, they run like they run the large truck, the 52 footers, the semi trucks that you see,
Sure.
and they can put multiple people in that load, so your stuff might get mixed up. If you're using us, I've done an OTR as small as like 8 pieces. I loaded up here in St. Louis and drove to Cincinnati, Ohio, with only 8 pieces in the back of the truck. So one person, 8 pieces, got unloaded and drove back. So we're very, we call it expedited service. So whatever day you want it to be there, we're going to get it there within those days. So we don't store it in a warehouse until, we get the whole truck loaded. We just load it up and we go. That's
okay.
We work a little different than your big freight liners and, van liners, all of them guys. We work a little different.
Yeah, I know my parents moved from New Mexico to Kansas, and they were convinced that they lost stuff during the move.
Yeah, and that can happen when you're on those big trucks. When you're load sharing, it's hard to keep it separated. So, and that's why we offer that. Our expedited service is literally you're buying the entire truck, so it's all yours. Okay.
And that covers the empty truck home too.
Correct. So full there, empty back. It's a flat bid, so we cover all the mileage, the labor, the hotels, everything. We cover all expenses. So there's no, at the end of the day, there's not an extra bill coming at you that's saying, hey, you owe us this much extra. That it is a binding estimate that does not get changed.
Okay. Is there ever a situation where you're coordinating with another franchisee so you don't have to do a deadhead home?
Yeah, so we call them backhauls. We have franchises all over the country. So we work with a lot of them to find that backhaul opportunity and drive it back. A lot of times, if we can find that opportunity, we can make it cheaper for both customers, the one going to location and then the one coming back to St. Louis, we can make it cheaper. So we do that.
What other things should the listeners know about you guys? How did 2 men in a truck get started? With 2 men in a truck?
Yeah. So it started in Lansing, Michigan. Two brothers. They started just as a summer job, just pay their way through high school, and then once they went to college, their mom kept it going, and she hired all the local high school kids and local college kids and started building it up. So when the 2 brothers came back from college and mom was starting to build an empire, so they started to expand. So our franchise here in St. Louis started back in 1994, and two brothers from wasn't the same two brothers, but two brothers from Detroit. They came down, started it here in St. Louis. So it also started with two brothers here. So
Wow.
just kind of works out, and it's a great name and a great company. So
Yeah.
and it pretty much history after that. We're in 250 cities around the nation. So
Wow, I didn't know you guys were that big.
yeah, we have a handful up in Canada, and I think there's a couple in Germany. So we're spreading out pretty far.
Is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know?
Specifically, no. I mean, I'm currently looking to try to help out with like hotels. That would be, I'd say, my golden goose if someone could get me in contact with someone. From my understanding, they renovate every about 3 to 7 years, and we have teams that can put together furniture and to hopefully help out in those situations. So other than that, any company, anyone looking to move, I'll talk to anyone and help them out. I've got that 10 years of experience on the trucks. Goes a long way whenever you talk about moving furniture.
Do you work with any rehab companies?
Yeah, so we're, especially right now, with the tornadoes and stuff that have been hitting St. Louis, we work with a lot of them right now. There's a lot that we kind of have to pull back on. We can't go into houses that have mold or houses that have, they're not structurally sound. So we kind of have to work with that a little bit and make sure it's fine. But a lot of those situations, I'll come out and take a look at it, make sure it's safe and everything before my guys get out there. So,
okay.
But yeah, right now we're working with a lot of those guys.
Again, why don't you give your phone number, and so we have it on the front end of the podcast and towards the end.
Sure. Yeah, the phone number for Two Men on a Truck here is 314-963-7766. And then our email, if you go to twomenandatruck.com, you should find us there.
So your website is 2 Men in a Truck, and then the location?
Yeah. So if you go 2 Men in a Truck, and then up in the upper, it should put you on our St. Louis page. But if you go to the top left corner, you can look at the map and you can see, if you're looking for a 2 Men in a Truck in a different city, you can see the entire map where they're all at. And and then it pulls up their contact. So if you're looking specifically St. Louis, you just click on St. Louis. If you want, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you can click on Sioux Falls or anywhere in between. So they're all on there.
Is there any areas you don't like to go to?
Specifically, I don't like Chicago, but I think that's just a St. Louis thing.
Well, could be the traffic too.
Yeah, a lot of it's the traffic. Doing long hauls for so long, it was always like the worst city. That in New York, their traffic is just insane. So when you deal with 15 minutes of traffic here in St. Louis, it's nothing compared to the hours you sit in traffic there.
I've been to Chicago a lot. I understand. So, okay. I appreciate your time here. Thanks for joining us, and great to talk to you.
Yeah, David, I appreciate it.
All right.